it's a little after 12. We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to 2021. Happy New Year to everyone. And we'll see how this goes. We continue to meet by Zoom, and I guess like everybody else, we'll see how long that lasts. So it looks like we've got a number of members and then some of our youth Rotars. I think we'll start out with an invocation today. Bill Tian is on, and he is ready, willing, and able to do an invocation for us today for today's meeting. So, Bill.
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
At the start of this new year, let us continue to look for ways to serve and protect each other. We are grateful for the gifts of last year, and we look forward with optimism to 2021. Please keep the family of former Rotarian Gene Davis in your thoughts and prayers as he passed away yesterday after a brave battle with cancer.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Bill. And yes, for those of you who joined late, Gene passed away, and a former Rotarian, great member of the Wausau community for many years. So, okay, other announcements, I guess. Maybe Brad, do we want to start with introductions of the youth Rotars and then move to announcements? How do you feel about that? Does that sound like a plan?
That would be great.
Let's do that. We've got
Okay.
some of the youth Rotars on, I see, and so we can do some introductions and then go from there.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. We have some of our January youth Rotars with us today. And so, this is our opportunity to meet you, and your opportunity, youth Rotars, to introduce yourselves to the club. So just again, we just ask your name and your school, and what you're involved in school and out of school, maybe in the community. You're being honored by your school by being selected for living and demonstrating what the Rotary motto is: service above self. So it's our real honor and privilege to have you with us today, and we're looking forward to meeting you. So why don't we begin with Wausau West High School. This year, or this month, we have Maddox Federici. Is Maddox with us?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Okay,
Maddox.
I'm Maddox Federici. I'm obviously from Wausau West, like he said. In school, I'm part of the DECA chapter. I'm actually a vice president there. I was one last year too as well, so very involved with that. I play hockey, big hockey player, so I'm on the Central Wisconsin Storm as well. Outside of that, I'm involved with Link Crew, Safe School Ambassadors, done a lot for Warrior Power, whether it be working out or just helping younger kids. And in the community, I like to get involved with like the youth hockey organization. I have three other siblings, and we all play hockey, so we've spent quite a bit of time with that association. So I'll help out with teams or try hockey for free whenever I can. Yeah.
Awesome. What do you want to do in the once you graduate from high school, Maddox?
I'm actually committed to play hockey in St. Norbert College over in De Pere. So thank you. So yeah, that's my plan, on either major in biology or psychology, and hopefully do something in the healthcare field.
Outstanding. Well, great.
Thank you.
Great job for leadoff too. That's always the most difficult. You did a great job there, Warrior. Okay, is Dylan with us today from Wausau West?
Yep, right here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Dylan Butler, obviously from Wausau West. I'm involved in a lot of music programs here. I'm in the band, I'm in the choir, I'm in Wausau West Master Singers. Outside of school, I've actually begun to give trumpet and piano lessons to a couple of students. I've been giving one kid trumpet lessons for the past month, and I have yet to start a piano lesson with a different student next Monday. I play piano at Trinity and Merrill, and at my home church, St. Paul's, I've just begun playing organ for them. Yeah.
That's fantastic, Dylan. The musical gene. And what are your plans after high school?
My plans after high school, I've yet to pick a college. It's right down to Northern Illinois or Eau Claire, and my plan is to go into trumpet performance. with an emphasis on jazz studies.
Fantastic. Well, we wish you the best, and it's really nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right, let's move to DC Everest High School. We have Adam and Taylor. Adam, are you here? No. Okay. How about Taylor? Nope. Taylor sent me an email. That's right. It's the first day of classes and she was going to miss. So hopefully we'll see them next month. All right. From Wausau East, is Jack with us? Man, okay. There aren't any lumberjacks with us today. Then we'll go to Newman. Angela and Nicholas. Angela, are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, I am Angela Donath. I go to Newman, obviously. I play 3 sports: volleyball, basketball, and softball. I'm involved in Christian Life Club, National Honor Society. That's about it. Outside of school, I'm trying to go to either Beloit College or Lawrence College for softball, and then possibly St. Norbert's for volleyball. Not too sure yet. And then I want to do a physical therapy field, so healthcare.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Angela, and welcome. How about Nicholas? Is Nicholas with us? Yep. There's Nick.
I'm Nick Brenner from Newman. I play football, basketball, and baseball. I'm involved in Camp Ministry, National Honor Society, school ambassadors. Outside school, I play the piano and like to serve in the church. And I'm looking between Butler University and Purdue, both in Indiana right now.
Wow. Okay. It's fantastic. What are you thinking about majoring in, Nick?
Right now, I'm thinking about biomedical engineering.
Okay. Excellent. Well, good to have you with us. So those are the Youth Rotors Club members that are here with us today. And I trust we'll have the others with us next Monday, Mr. President. So again, welcome. When we have our presentations, please get involved, ask questions that you might have. We want you to feel a part of the club as much as we can virtually, but we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us for these meetings. So welcome. Mr. President.
Dr.
Yep.
Peck, could I add a quick thing? I know that Nicholas's transmission was garbled. I want to make sure that I let everybody know that Nicholas, we watched your recording, your reading at Mass last week, and it was done like a pro. So I look forward to a better connection so you can hear what Nicholas really sounds like. Done like a pro.
Yeah, very nice. Excellent. Okay, back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Peck. And I was going to ask Nick if his mother was advocating for Butler. I assume she is. I think that's her alma mater, right? Yes, she's not going for the Purdue thing. Nick, is that correct? No. Okay. Well, thanks and welcome to all of the Youth Rotars. We look forward to getting to know you over the coming weeks. So, general announcements. I don't know if we've got anything. We've had a couple weeks off here. Looks like John Townsend has something. John, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I can't see the floor, but thank you for offering it. I am in the first meeting of each month wanting to offer some information to our new Youth Rotars for the month. And chances are you may remember back to the Youth Rotar orientation that Dr. Peck provided and announced that our club does offer scholarships to high school seniors who exceed in community service, leadership, both in school and in the community, and are accepting applications through the Community Foundation website. Both our website and going straight to the community website will get you that link, and we certainly welcome you to give that consideration. I think the closure on the applications may be somewhere in February, but we make the decision somewhere in April. And of course, when we've had our traditional award nights, we used to present them there. We've had to do that a little differently last year because of COVID. So we'll figure out where that is when we get there. But you're certainly welcome to take advantage and take a look at that. And both the criteria and the application are available for you online. So best of luck and thanks for joining us this month.
Okay, thank you, John. Any other announcements for today?
I'll share something about the website. It's coming. I've added more stuff. If you guys have a chance, probably after the meeting, Debbie can send out a link again for all of you guys to just review it. I'm looking for feedbacks and comments to improve it and see what information needs to change. I'll probably be working with various committee chairperson to get some pages filled in with content such as reindeer run or Salvation Army ringing bell, stuff to just populate the website. And I just want people to have in mind that the website is always going to be fluid. We can change it anytime. I'll probably look for some feedback before I launch it, maybe in a couple of days or weeks. But I hope to launch the site no later in 2 weeks time. I think we're pretty ready to launch it. So just one thing to get some feedback from you guys, and we can look forward to launching it.
All right, thanks, Dennis. Other announcements? Okay, I know we will get a HungerPlus update from Patrick in a few minutes after after the rest of our meeting. I think we're up to happy and sad dollars. Looks like Brian is ready to do that for us. Thanks, Brian. What nobody else knows is we've been having a private chat here around happy and sad dollars. So Brian's ready to wear the virtual red coat and take us through the happy sad dollar process. Thank you, Brian.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I'm happy to jump in at the very last second. Well, let's take it away. Let's start out with happy dollars. I know there was a Packers game yesterday. Who wants to kick that off? I can confirm my mic is not on mute.
That'd be me. I've got my sparkles on, $10 for a very special Packer win. Couldn't have beat a nicer team.
Just a note here to the youth Rotars, what we do is we have happy and sad dollars. And happy dollars, if you want to throw in $1 for something positive that's gone on in your life, $1 for maybe something that's sad. We usually don't ask the youth Rotars for that. Jim Campbell usually matches yours. So like if you, no, just kidding, Jim. If any of you, if any of the youth Rotars have a happy dollar that you'd like to throw in, I'll cover that for you. But where does the money go? The money goes for scholarships for the club. So it's for a good cause.
Dr. Peck, I think you've historically done it at a 5-to-1 ratio, right? Isn't
that? No. That's where Jim Campbell comes in. As for me, it's just 1-to-1.
Fixed income now, right?
Right. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Peck, for that explanation. Any other happy dollars before we move on to sad dollars?
I'll put in a happy $10 for the end of 2020. Yay. Let's move forward.
Well stated. Thank you, Bill.
This is John. I'd love to offer a happy dollar, actually $5 for my granddaughter, Katie Martell, who is a graduate from the lumberjack camp last May, and is now attending Eau Claire. But she completed the first ever Eagle Scout award for a female in Samoset Council. And for all I know, it could be one rare occasion throughout the state or the country. So the very first female Eagle Scout in Samoset Council. she was interviewed on Channel 9 on December 27th and had a nice piece. Some of you may have even seen it, but quite a proud accomplishment. For a while, she was active in Troop 427 out of St. Anne's until they offered the opportunity for young women to jump in the formal pathway of earning advancement and earning that Eagle status a couple of years ago. John Overland can probably speak to it better than I, but we're really proud of Katie, and she is a trailblazer, very kind and unpresumptuous young lady, but certainly one that was persistent and had great vision to want to do what she wanted to do. So she joins her brother, who's an Eagle, and her father, who's an Eagle.
Congratulations.
Way to go.
Wonderful.
Yeah, way to go, Lumberjack.
Excellent. Other happy dollars.
Just for the fun of it, I'm going to throw in a happy dollar as a former Wausau West Warrior. And it's called Master Singers now, but back in the day when Jeff and I were at Wausau West, it was called the Chamber Choir. So I'll throw in a happy dollar for our students that are involved in music and keep that going too.
Great. Thank you, Debbie. All right, moving along to sad dollars. Are there any sad dollars? Any Bears fans out there?
I don't want to raise my hand to that, Brian, but I will do a sad dollar. A friend of mine on the theme that 2020 had a lot left a lot to be desired for a year. On New Year's Eve, was skiing with his son and passed away of a brain aneurysm. Had a brain aneurysm. I think passed away at the hospital. But father of three. I don't know exact age, but late 40s, I would guess. So a pretty tragic circumstance, and didn't make for a good New Year's holiday. So,
oh, sorry.
And so I'll make that $10. That'll be $5 for the friend and $5 for Jean.
Yeah, I'll put in 10 for sad dollars for Jean.
I would go along with that. Jean was the president of the NTC Foundation and was instrumental in hiring me. And so I would not be here if it weren't for Jean Davis. So please put $10 in for me.
Thank you. Other sad dollars. All right, going once, going twice. Any fess up dollars? I could have swore I saw Sean in the news within the last week or so.
Sean's always in the news, isn't he?
Not within the last week or so. But I'm sure at some point I was there, so sure. I've had something I'm sure I probably have to fess up to at some point. So yes, I'll contribute.
We just have to make that an automatic withdrawal, Sean. For you.
Pretty much.
Excellent. Keep that in mind for future meetings. It's a great untapped revenue source.
I'll put a fess up dollar in too.
I'm going to throw my $10 in for Gene Davis, not only a fellow Rotarian, but I worked with him very closely when he was the president of Samoset Council back in, I think, the 90s.
Jim, you've shifted your screenshot. Can you describe that to us? Is that anything in particular? You're not.
If you look at the window on the left, you can almost see me there.
Is that
That's
right?
That's yeah.
Your house? Yeah.
A view from the lake. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right. Well, that completes my assigned duties, Mr. President. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think it's now time for Patrick to give us an update on our HungerPlus initiative, which I know he was out doing TikTok videos or something. I'm not sure what those are exactly, but maybe you can bring us up to speed, Patrick. So.
what are TikTok videos?
Yeah, see, Patrick, your kids are older. You don't know this anymore. This is, you got to get with the times. We can ask our youth Rotars. They can tell us.
I guess so. So you're gonna have a very unrehearsed presentation today. Apparently our speaker couldn't, our scheduled speaker couldn't make it. So Debbie sent me a text over the weekend. So 30 some years ago, I took the Dale Carnegie course and I won the extemporaneous speaking award. So let's see if I can keep that going. So Ben Lee is joining us today from the Hunger Coalition. And say, Mr. President, do I have screen sharing rights here?
You do, Patrick. You should anyway. Yes, there you go.
Let's see. Okay. So I just want to share a couple things with you. So 15, 16 years ago, I was a member of this Rotary Club, and I really had no idea about poverty and hunger in our community. So I just wanted to take a step back before we get into HungerPlus and take a look at some stats. So this comes from the Life report from last year. And you know, when you take a look at this, when I take a look at this anyway, I'm kind of surprised to see that in our community, 3,000 families and 2,200 children are living in poverty in Marathon County. And if I'm just going to move my screen over here. So, and then taking a look in Marathon County, the percent of people in various communities that are living below the poverty level. So here we've got Wausau. So I don't know what that exact number is. So 18% of the residents in Wausau. Schofield, a solid 20%, it looks like. Weston, maybe 12%. Rib Mountain, 2 or 3%. And then the other thing that I just wanted to share with you is, Ben, maybe you can give us some feedback on this, but I found this chart kind of interesting. It's my understanding this chart started somewhere around 2012. I mean, the data goes back a number of years, but this shows how many requests from the Hunger Coalition food pantries have there been year by year. And in 2017, we can see there were 152,000, call it. In 2018, I don't know what the exact number is, but it's something more. 2019, there were 185,000. And Ben, my question to you is, do you think for 2020, we're going to hit over 200,000 requests?
We easily could. You know, I know. So those numbers that we draw, they only come from 10 pantries. And those are the 10 pantries that are part of the Marathon County Hunger Coalition. So if we were, of course, to poll every single pantry, all 50 pantries in Marathon County, we would far surpass that number. The 10 pantries that we serve, we know that they've been extremely busy this year. Donna has seen an uptick in food requests, especially lately around the holidays at the neighbor's place. And depending on where, you know, there's a lot of factors that go into that number and how many people are coming to pantries. But what we've seen the trend is, especially at Neighbor's Place, which is our largest serving pantry here in Marathon County, we've seen that it's a lot of new individuals, people who have not been to a food pantry before. You know, at the midway point of the year, we were already somewhere upwards of 1.3, 1.4 million pounds of food moved throughout Marathon County as of July. And so there's some factors that go into that number that could alleviate it. The Hunger Coalition truck has been busy this year. We've been bringing a lot of food to people. And so that's been a little bit of a change in pace, is going to individuals instead of waiting for them to come to us. But I would not be surprised if that number is substantially higher this year. And in January here, as we start collecting that end of year data, I would not be surprised if that is up close or above 200,000 requests.
Okay. Amazing. So in 2004 or 5, I had no idea that our county was challenged with this. And in 2004, I believe it was when I started volunteering with the with United Way, and I've been involved with mainly issues revolving around hunger. So for those that are not aware, and particularly our youth Rotars, right around that time in 2004 or 5, our club started what is now known as HungerPlus. And it's a quarterly campaign to raise money to support the Marathon County Hunger Coalition. And as Ben mentioned, there are 10, I think 10 of the largest food pantries in Marathon County that are members of that coalition. And so we started raising money on a quarterly basis in, I think it was 2004. And that effort went on for a couple of years. And then it dropped off for a few years. And then in the holiday season of 2011, we started up again. And that year we raised money to purchase approximately 150 turkeys. And there were cooking classes for individuals who relied on food pantries for support. And since then, we have had the equivalent of 33 quarterly HungerPlus events. And I say equivalent because there were some quarters when we doubled up. And we have raised in excess of $60,000 to support the Marathon County Hunger Coalition. And we've set a goal of raising at least $1,000 per quarter. And 97% of the time, so that's 32 out of 33, we exceeded that goal. And so there was only one time when we met the goal, and all the rest time we exceeded that goal. So in addition to providing financial support for food, we've also been supporting nutrition and cooking classes. We've had 10 holiday campaigns, purchasing food and cooking equipment for individuals. We've had, I can't remember if the number was 4 tons or 8 tons of potatoes delivered and then distributed among food pantries in Marathon County. We were responsible for approximately 22,000, I think it's eggs, not dozen eggs. And we'd purchased crock pots, hot ovens, and thermometers in the past, all in an effort to support the Hunger Coalition, to support those people in our community that are just not as fortunate as us. So last holiday that we just got over, we had a fundraiser, and our goal was to raise $3,000 and purchase 150 $20 food vouchers for families that have been identified by Wausau School District social workers as being somewhat needy. Ben, do you want to address how these individuals were selected?
Sure. So when it comes to the school districts, it's a lot of the identification is already done for us through the social workers, because they have the best pulse on what children are experiencing, not only on a daily basis, but just on kind of a more behavioral pattern basis. And so the best predictor of data that we have is the students that enroll on free or reduced lunch programs. And while there are FERPA laws that allow us to know exactly who those individuals are, the social workers know who they are. And so we often partner with them, and they're allowed to give us numbers about how many students are affected or are living in poverty per the federal poverty guidelines. And so it just makes sense to use a more targeted approach with the social workers in the school. And I would say over the last year, we've built a pretty good relationship with a lot of the social workers here in Marathon County school districts, including the rural school districts that we've served, that really help us identify those kids. And I think what it does is it really targets your dollars, and it allows you to have some peace of mind in knowing that your dollars are going to children that need it, and they're having the most impact for those kids. So typically when we have a situation like what we just had with the grocery vouchers, we simply contact the school social worker. We collect the data that Patrick needed to be able to identify how many children are we going to serve. And then once those funds are raised and generously donated by you, we're able to go and make those transactions with the local grocers. And then we again connect with the school social workers, and we make sure that we get them, in this case, the grocery vouchers, and then they distribute them among the children that are signed up on the free and reduced lunch program. And the reason we like it is because it's program specific. So we're really allowed to put you in control of how you want to see your dollars best used. And personally, I love that, being able to kind of survey the Rotarians and decide, like, how do you want these dollars to be used? And then we're able to do exactly that. And then as of not last week, but the week before, our social worker had all the vouchers that we purchased with the dollars that were granted through us out of your HungerPlus campaign. And then she took the 2 days before holiday break to distribute those out to the appropriate parties.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. So as I mentioned, the goal was to raise $3,000 and purchase 150 vouchers, and we ended up, through your generous contributions, of raising $3,200. So we were able to purchase 160 vouchers. So we made 10 more families than our goal have a happier holiday season with something to contribute to a holiday meal. So thanks very much for all of your help with that. Hey, Ben, let me talk about going into 2021. What are some challenges that you see, not only for the Hunger Coalition, but also for the clients that are served by the Hunger Coalition?
Well, so I'll start with the clients, because that's always our main focus. And really the big thing about 2021 is it's going to be a year of recovery for a lot of individuals. And we know that. You know, I think there was some hope, even if we took a realistic view at it, that having vaccine news would almost be like a light switch, and the pandemic would just be over and we would be ready to move forward. And we just know that that's not going to be the case. You know, and that's not just with the Hunger Coalition, that's also with the housing task force that we lead. You know, we're seeing a lot of people who are struggling with rent are also struggling with keeping up on sustainable access to food. And that's going to continue. If you think about an emergency like losing your job or, you know, falling behind on your bills, you don't typically recover from that in one pay period. You know, one emergency could cause you to not have a steady income of food or finances for up to 6 months. And so we know that the recovery is going to be long and hard for a lot of individuals. And that's where our efforts are going to remain. So we're going to continue to focus on getting access to healthy foods. We're going to continue focusing on those vulnerable kids in our school district. I think I tallied it up a couple weeks ago, and by year's end, we had invested, with your help, we had invested over $47,000 in school districts in Marathon County, and 100% of that is food. And so we know that that's likely going to continue. We know that the summer will likely be difficult because we're not sure where we're going to be at as far as childcare situations go again. So we may see something like we saw in 2020, where kids don't have regular access to food because they're home alone. And so we'll know that will continue. And so we'll be really focusing on just balancing all of our programmatic efforts that you're all probably used to and familiar with, our pantry bulk purchases and things like that, with kind of these new initiatives that are very focused on the pandemic and people who are recovering from that. From the Hunger Coalition standpoint, our biggest our biggest challenge in 2021 is going to be funding. We were not able to have a regular turkey trot like we typically do. The turkey trot brings in about $65,000 worth of funding for us every year. And this year we brought in $25,000 worth of funding through the turkey trot. So quite a large hit in the funding that we typically take every year. And that's going to change the way that we approach some of our efforts. But what it has forced us to do is get more creative in the programs that we're running, how we're partnering with our agencies like you for the funding that we are receiving, and then how we're using those dollars. It's really making us focus in on those dollars and say, what's going to be the greatest impact in the community? And one blessing that 2020 has brought us is the partnership that we have specifically with the Neighbors Place. You know, we've always had that partnership, but Donna Ambrose has been just a phenomenal partner to me and to the Hunger Coalition's efforts. And so with all of those things, we're able to create this environment where we can lean on each other a little bit and say, okay, how are we going to make this work, or how are we going to make that work? And, you know, the Neighbors Place has this surplus of food. Where can Ben take that to, you know, can we get that to schools? Can we get it here? And so it's not necessarily the Hunger Coalition that maybe is securing that food, but it's the Neighbors Place that's doing it. And the Neighbors Place is part of the Hunger Coalition. And so we're able to, I think, take our resources and stretch them a lot further than we ever have any other time of the year. And then, of course, the one thing I think we're all looking forward to is in 2020, because of the way the Hunger Coalition operates, largely most of the operational efforts fell on myself as an individual and Donna Ambrose and some key players, where we had to sideline a lot of our volunteers because we were concerned about their safety, and we wanted to make sure that they stayed safe throughout the year, and we didn't want to expose them to a lot of people. And so one of the biggest things that I'm really looking forward to in 2021 is to be able to hand that back to the people that care about this community so much, and to be able to allow them to get involved again. And so I think 2021 will be a struggle for us. But I think there's a lot of good things to come yet. You know, we have great partners in the community. We'll be doing grant writing to make sure we can make up for some of those lost funds. And we'll be targeting those more vulnerable populations that are trying to recover from really an unprecedented year last year.
Mm-hmm. Great, awesome, Ben. So Ben, as far as fundraising, so you mentioned grant writing, the Turkey Trot, our Rotary Club. What other sources of funding does the coalition have, if any?
Yeah, so we of course we have lots of corporate partners in the coalition. So the coalition is made up of corporate partners, individuals, agencies, and so we see funding coming from all sorts of different places. You know, People's State Bank has been a great partner of ours. They've donated food and money in the past. All of the local foundations have either donated through COVID relief funds, or we have written in grants to them, which are pretty widely accepted usually because the work that we're doing is important in the community. And then we have some corporate partners out there. You know, one of our big projects last year was we received a $10,000 grant from an organization, Mutual Group of Wausau, to specifically use to buy fresh farm produce and distribute that out through pantries and get it to people in need. And so we see lots of those types of situations. And then of course, HungerPlus initiatives, Rotarians that just believe in the work that we're doing. So we have lots of contributions, whether they be big or small. When you compound those, they make a huge difference. And so I think in 2021, our biggest source of funding is going to continue to be probably our partnership with the Rotary clubs, and then our grant writing through the local foundations is going to be our largest source. And then we are looking forward to an in-person turkey trot again this year. So the 2021 turkey trot, as long as we can speed up this vaccination process a little bit, should be good to go in person and result in our typical 2,000 person event that we hold every year.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. So Ben, with our club's HungerPlus efforts, as we look into 2021, You know, in the past, we've tried to come up with a theme every quarter to raise money. And so we've raised money for high school and middle school pantries, the elderly. We've tried to get gluten-free foods in food pantries. As we look into 2021, what are some quarterly themes that you think our club should consider, knowing that we want to try to make the biggest impact in our community?
So my attention, at least, and the attention that I'm turning the coalition to, is going to be those school-age children. We're going to keep a heavy focus on those kiddos throughout 2021, but also the elderly. And when I say elderly, that's a wide umbrella, right? So those are people who are isolated in their homes, probably because of the pandemic. They're trying to stay safe. Those are differently abled individuals who have aged into nursing homes. And those are also non-mobile individuals that live in community development authority owned homes here in Wausau. And we're really making an effort. We started this in 2020 and we'll continue it in 2021 to bring fresh produce, to bring healthy foods to those individuals. So the truck has really been running a lot in 2020 to places like Riverview Towers, Island Apartments, places like those where individuals, the farmers market is not on a bus line, and those individuals love farmers market goodies. So, you know, every year we do a share the harvest. Every Saturday in the summer, we're at the farmers market just collecting donations from local farmers, and we deliver that to Riverview Towers. We deliver it to assisted living homes so that those individuals still have access to fresh foods. And I think that's really where our attention is going to be. Now, that's not to say it's not going to be in other places. We, at any given time, have 10 to 12 different programs that we're running that are distributing food to different populations of people. But I think having this pandemic hit, it shined a light on two vulnerable populations: kids who depend on school for consistent meals every day, and then elderly individuals who now have to isolate or shutter in at home because of fear of catching COVID, you know? And so we wanna make sure that those individuals are taken care of and that they have the right access to foods. And so as we look into 2021, we'll continue our pandemic response. We'll continue our community-wide food distribution efforts, but I think we'll also be putting more of a focus on those school-age kids and those elderly individuals.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ben. So Ben, you are the third United Way staff person that is supporting the Hunger Coalition. And I have to say, I think you are doing an awesome job. So thanks a ton for your commitment to our community.
Thank you.
So, absolutely. So that's about all I have for now. Are there any questions from the gallery, so to speak? Yes, John.
I have a comment and a question. First, the question. I don't know if I heard, maybe I did, and I was just zoning a bit. Did all of our vouchers get delivered successfully? And for this last campaign, and any feedback we got from those who received them, Ben?
So we have not received any feedback yet, and we don't know yet because this is the first day back for the schools. So the schools have only been back in session for about 5 hours now. But we do have Ashley, who's the social worker that we were working with, is going to follow up with us and just make sure, because the expectation was set that all vouchers needed to be distributed. And because, you know, if you're donating money and we're getting vouchers with that money, the highest impact is to make sure that they go to families and that they can use them. So, so we'll probably have an update on that, which I'll share with Patrick sometime this week. I probably won't ask her today just because of schools just returning for the first day. But if we don't hear by midweek, I would reach out to her. But my suspicion would be that all the vouchers are currently out in the community right now. And I would even suspect that most of them have probably already been used.
Great, thank you. My comment to you, Patrick, is, correct me if my memory serves me properly, but some years ago, wasn't it accurate that you also spoke about our Hunger Plus or discussed our campaign with the Early Bird Club and got them interested, and they've been on a trail that maybe you and Ben can speak about in terms of their egg campaign, the ongoing donations for eggs. So I guess the comment is partly a question to see if my recall is correct about you approaching them, and that's what catalyzed them. Beyond that, I guess the additional part of my comment would be kudos to you for your ongoing leadership all these years and the spirit you've kept and the innovative communication styles with these TikTok videos, as Matt referred to them. It's been special. It's been inspirational, and we're proud of you. Thank you so much for what you've done. But in particular, if you inspired, if it's true, the Early Bird Club, they have done a remarkable job. I know I attended one of their meetings where Ben provided them an update on their egg program, which was very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, thank you, John. So probably in 2013, 14, somewhere in that range, our club had successfully had some traction with our own Hunger Plus initiative. And so I did put together a presentation that I made to the early birds, and I encouraged them to consider coming up with their version of Hunger Plus. And what they decided to do at that time, as I recall anyway, was to assess each member. I think it was $5 a month, and then those dollars are used to purchase eggs, dozens of eggs. Dave Eisenreich, the chair of the Hunger Coalition, it's my understanding either every week or every month he's going to, I think it's now Quick Trip, and purchasing dozens and dozens of eggs and then getting them out to the food pantries. Ben might be able to speak a little bit more to that, but so it's my understanding they're delivering, I don't know, like 4,000 dozen eggs a year, some crazy number like that. It's great.
10,000 dozen a year.
A year, okay.
Yep, and so eggs, as you all know, eggs are just, again, that I think the Egg Project is a really good example of how the Hunger Coalition operates. We like to call ourselves gap fillers. We find a gap in the community and we try and fill it. And that's exactly what the Early Bird Rotary Club and the Hunger Coalition did. Eggs are hard to keep on hand in food pantries because they need to be cooled. And so it's hard for a lot of food pantries to store these things because they have limited cooler space. So every month, Dave buys eggs, Dave Eisenreich does, and he delivers those himself. He drives around and he fills up his car with cases of eggs, and he goes all the way from Maine to Edgar. Or sorry, not Maine, Hatley to Edgar, and stops at multiple pantries. And then in the winter, we also serve the warming center so that they can make scrambled eggs in the morning for their homeless guests before they leave. And so just a fantastic project. It continues to run strong. I just handed off another egg card to Dave, and he'll be out buying eggs this month and delivering them. And just a funny note about Dave, like Dave is one of the few people that I could not convince to just stay home in the peak of the pandemic. And so, he was like, I want to get in that truck and I want to deliver food with you. And I was like, Dave, that's not safe. And he was like, I don't care, and so his passion and empathy for this community is inspiring to me. And I'll just be honest with you. I'm 33 years old in 3 weeks. And sometimes it's Dave Eisenreich's energy that keeps me on my toes and going, and just seeing how much care he has for the individuals in this community and the running he does and the commitment that he's had to the coalition is just inspiring. And so he's been fantastic. And I'll add real quick just that the Early Bird Rotary Club has also, I'm in the middle of a campaign with them as well right now, which John and Jennifer are leading, on doing the same thing, getting food to schools, backpack programs in the rural parts of this county. And so to know that these things have snowballed off of each other but you're filling these different gaps and you're making an impact. It's really important work. And I hope you're all proud of that work that you're putting forth, because the honest truth is none of you have to do this. You're all doing this because you want to. And so from the Hunger Coalition, it's just very appreciative that you allow us that opportunity to take your visions and put them to work.
Great, thanks, Ben. Yes, Jean.
Thank you for a beautiful presentation. I, as a Rotarian, am very proud to be continuing to be a part of this program. And both Patrick and Ben, I think you have exceeded the Dale Carnegie gold standard once again in your presentation. Thank you both so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Bill.
Patrick, I have a question related not so much to Hunger Coalition, but to hunger in general. And since we have Donna with us, I thought I'd ask her about the amazing success of the Share Your Holidays campaign, and what does this mean to the Neighbor's Place and to the Salvation Army? Because Hunger Coalition is extraordinarily important, and Patrick, you've done an amazing job, but there's so much unmet need. I'm just wondering, how do you see things going right now, Donna, and what does that effort mean to you?
Yeah, well, thank you for mentioning that. And to anyone that contributed to that campaign, thank you. That it was huge. It was a record-breaking year. We raised over 200,000 between us, Salvation Army. We get to share that. It's vitally important because this year there are so many unknowns. And, you know, like Ben mentioned earlier, even though there's a shot coming and all of those things, and we're hoping to see the day when the pandemic is no longer, or it's in our rearview mirror, the reality is economic recovery for those struggling from food insecurity often lags 2 years behind the general population. So we have to be, we're looking, you know, at the end game, the long game, and we have to be as prepared as we can be. Because right now, I will tell you, just to give you some perspective, since April, we've had over 700 new households visit the Neighbor's Place. So these are families that have never been here before. We're getting a lot of requests from throughout Marathon County because we do serve the entire county. So that gift is going to be tremendous for us because we have a little sense of security that we're going to be fine going into 2021. We're going to be able to meet and exceed the need because we still don't know what that will look like. Just today, as we were meeting, I was just glancing out my window and our line goes all the way down St. Paul Avenue and around the block down by Hiawatha, and that's a typical day. So it's very important, and we're very fortunate to be working with a lot of organizations. But the thing we have to look at too with our environment, with the transition into a new administration, we don't know what's going to happen yet with the USDA. We have some idea. The new CARES package gave a lot of people relief, so we know that those folks may not need our help for a little while. So it kind of goes up and down, it ebbs and flows. So it's vitally important for us just to be a little strategic and to be able to plan a little proactively. That was a long answer, but I hope that made sense.
Oh, very good. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? If not, back to you, Mr. President. And Debbie, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you for pinch hitting like that. Very good report. And Ben, thanks for all of your efforts. Very much appreciated what you're doing. So I think that concludes conclude the presentation. We'll end our meeting as we always do with our four-way test. I'm going to share the screen quickly here, hopefully, so that the youth Rotars can see it. And then, are you seeing that? Yes?
Yes.
And then John Overland is going to take us out with the four-way test. So John, floor is yours.
Your thing. Of the things we think, say, or do, number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody. We'll stand adjourned.
Have a good week.